It's another raw video from your favorite YouTube scout, Draftrawthentic. Yes, I am finally here making another video, and like I said, it's a raw one, so there will be no edits. Anyway, if you already know, I'm doing my 32 for 32 draft breakdown series where I do 32 teams for 32 days, a draft breakdown for each and every NFL team for the 2018 draft. Now, if you're seeing this video, I've already done the North, East, and West for both the AFC and the NFC. And right now, I'm on my last leg, and that's the Southern Division for both the AFC and NFC. Now, keeping up with how I've been doing the AFC first and then the NFC second. So, obviously, if you can tell by the title, this is the AFC South team, the Tennessee Titans. Now, with the Titans, with their draft, they've only had 4 picks. So it's not, some great draft that they had, but I think that they did a lot of good things with the 4 picks that they did have. Now, the reason why I said that is because if you look at a video that I made like a day after the draft or 2 days after the draft, it was called The Winners of the 2018 NFL Draft. And the Tennessee Titans were actually an honorable mention. And I like that draft a lot, like I said, because of the players that they pick, where they pick these players, and also basically how much they did with the picks that they had. The simple fact is that you had the least amount of picks with 4, and to me, you got 2 starters from this draft, and then a possible third guy that could really contribute as a backup. And the 4th guy, who knows? He's a later round pick, but you never know what this guy could actually end up doing in the league. So we'll see. But to start off with the Tennessee Titans, the first pick, they picked up Rashad Evans, linebacker from Alabama. Now, this is a great pick for them. Rashad Evans is one of possibly the most athletic linebackers in this draft. I would put him ahead of Tremaine Edmonds, and not just athleticism. Actually, Tremaine is probably a little bit more athletic, but just as a pure linebacker, I will put him ahead of Tremaine Edmonds. I will put him ahead of Leighton Vander Esch. I wouldn't put him ahead of Roquan Smith, but, it's to me, it's kind of 2 guys that are somewhat similar, but with Evans, I think he's a little bit more of a physical player. And being as though he played at Alabama, obviously you have to be a little bit more physical. He actually reminds me a lot of C.J. Mosley, who is the linebacker for my favorite team, the Baltimore Ravens. And the reason why he reminds me of him is not just the athleticism that he carries, but the aggressiveness that he has. The simple fact is that he can lay the wood, he can go sideline to sideline, and then he can drop back in coverage. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to be a good one-on-one drop back in coverage guy, because C.J. Mosley is not a great one-on-one coverage guy as a linebacker. But getting the depth really quickly, I think both linebackers do pretty well. And if you've seen the way C.J. Mosley has played recently, he's played 4 seasons in the league. His first season was really good, and then his second season, it was a little bit sophomore slump. But his third and fourth season, even though you can say, well, man, he got abused here or there when it came to certain tight ends and stuff like that, but he got better at dropping back in coverage and just zone coverage and covering a lot of space. And like I said, if you've seen him recently, the dude has actually got more interceptions than what you probably would think he would have. I mean, he's been really going after it, getting the ball in his hands, making the interceptions, making the plays that a team really needs, especially a team like the Ravens, who offense is so bad. You need players on defense to be able to be playmakers to take the ball away. And he's one of those guys that do it. So I don't like comparing players, but because they are from the same school and they do remind me of each other, I think the Tennessee Titans got a perfect 3-4 outside linebacker in Rashad Evans. Now, to moving on to their second pick, this is a guy that I believe that the Tennessee Titans coveted so much. And when I say that is, I heard a rumor that with their first pick, they were either going to pick Leighton Vander Esch, who got obviously picked ahead of him, Rashad Evans, who they did pick, or Harold Landry. Now, Harold Landry, to me, was a first-round pick that ended up going in the second round. And I know the knee injury is probably the biggest reason why he went in the second round. But when you covet players so much and you actually end up getting 2 out of 3 players that you really covet, it is the greatest thing ever, especially for this organization, because of the pass rushers that they already do have on their roster. This is a young guy that can come in, and not to say he's going to be a starter right away, but he's going to be able to be you can have him as a designated pass rusher first, getting to learn the position in the NFL, and then improving on that, and then eventually becoming a starter within the second or his third year in the league. And Harold Landry has that ability. I think that he's a natural bendy athlete to be able to get after the quarterback, and I feel as though he can hold his own when it comes to running plays. He probably needs to get a little bit better at that, being able to punch his hands a little bit more and being able to redirect some offensive line or the running back that's trying to, run between the tackles or outside of tackles. But when it comes down to it, you got a guy that has the natural ability to be able to be a starting linebacker or starting 3-4 outside linebacker in the NFL. So to me, that's another great pick from the Tennessee Titans that is going to improve on their team and improve their defense. And then maybe eventually these 2 guys can be a cornerstone with already guys like a Kevin Byard, who is one of my favorite players in the league, and on offense with a Marcus Mariota and a Corey Davis to eventually put this team into the parameters of being a premier playoff team for years to come, and maybe eventually finally winning a Super Bowl that has been eluding the Titans for all these years. So then going to the next pick in the 5th round, they chose Dane Cruikshank from Arizona State. Now, I don't know much about him. I used 2 different websites to really give me prospects that I should look at in the draft. And usually I look at every single prospect that those 2 websites list for me. He's one of those names that I never got to see. So I don't know exactly how good he is. And I don't like to read up on players. I like to watch for myself because I need to have that opinion. But sometimes I may read up on it just to see exactly where they're trying to where this player may be, where he may end up fighting for in terms of roster spot and stuff like that. But when you're talking about a 5th round pick, usually you're talking about special teams, especially a safety. So not to say that he's a guy that can't be a starter in this league, because I'm not sure yet. But obviously, this is a guy that is more brought in for special teams, and then possibly being a guy that if one of the starting safeties do get hurt, he can come in. Now, if Kevin Byard gets hurt, that's not the ideal player that you want. But if the other safety gets hurt, then I believe that's the ideal player. I believe the other safety is Jonathan Cyprien. I could be wrong. If you're seeing this video on Tennessee Titans fan, if Jonathan Cyprien is the other safety, to me that's a good combo. But when it comes to Dane, if Jonathan Cyprien was to get hurt, I think that it's better for Dane to come in for that and still having a future perennial Pro Bowler in Kevin Byard as being the natural, rangy, long free safety. So, but anyway, with their next pick, and it was their last pick, was in the 6th round, they chose Luke Falk. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Luke Falk at all, but I can say this, for a guy that emulates Tom Brady so much, for a guy that that's like that's where he wants to be. He wants to be Tom Brady. There was a guy we all know in basketball that emulated the greatest player ever, and that was Kobe Bryant, and he always copied off of Michael Jordan with everything that he does. Now, being as though Luke Falk was picked with the exact same numbered pick that Tom Brady was picked, being as though Luke Falk has really studied Tom Brady in terms of his game, the way he diets, the way he exercises, the way he just does everything, I can just say this. Luke Falk is a guy that has a chance to being a good quarterback in this league. I don't think he's going to be a star quarterback to a point where he's like the next, what you see with Carson Wentz. But I think he can give you solid play like, let's say, a Dak Prescott. Or even a Marcus Mariota, because Mariota hasn't hit that stride of being elite type of quarterback yet, but he has been a very solid quarterback that's been able to win games. And because of his legs, I think that he's been able to really push his team up there, and the reason why they went to the playoffs this past season. But with Luke Falk, it gives you a good backup to where if Mariota was to get hurt, which I believe he's been hurt all 3 seasons. I'm not sure if that's true. I don't remember, but I believe he has been hurt all 3 seasons. All 3 seasons, what Luke Falk gives you is a steady hand at quarterback to where you can feel comfortable with putting him out there and say, hey, you just need to run these plays and run them well, and we'll be on our way to getting wins. So anyway, when it comes all the way down to it, I believe that the Titans, like I said, honorable mention, they are the winners of the 2018 NFL Draft. I don't know if I said that earlier. I made a video about the winners of the draft, and I had them as an honorable mention. They was the only honorable mention. It was a top 5 list. And the Tennessee Titans, I believe what they did, it was one of the best drafts to really have. So overall, I think it was a very solid draft, and maybe this draft could be something, even though it's 4 picks, but it can be something that can be built on years to come. So anyway, if you like this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos and more of me with my draft breakdowns, please subscribe. Please comment on this video. If you didn't like what I had to say about a certain Titans draft pick so we can debate about it, please share this video so other people can comment, other people can debate, and we can have this huge draft community. Once again, this is Draft Raw Authentic. I thank you for watching. Goodbye.